Also been marked across the country. Among those paying their respects, London Fire Brigade, 58 firefighters and 8 fire engines tackled the fire that night. They paused at their headquarters in nearby Kensington. At St Helen's Church, a memorial service took place earlier this morning. Friends and family lit candles to remember their loved ones, whilst a wreath of white roses was laid at a separate service at the base of the tower. And in Chester, the Queen and the Duchess of Sussex paid their respects to the victims. We also had lots of other people down here today. We had people like Sadiq Khan, the London Mayor, representatives of the NHS, the fire service, the police. We even had some celebrities, those who've done a lot to support families over the last year, including Marcus Mumford from Mumford & Sons, Stormzy and Adele. But the most important guests down here today are those who survived the dreadful events of that night, or those who lost loved ones. Tomissina is with me now. She lived just 50 metres from the tower, and she joins me now. And Tomissina, it was a dreadful night for you. You weren't in the tower, but you were able to see what was happening.
Yeah, we were evacuated, and we just had to watch it for a while until we found somewhere to go, because no one came to tell us where to leave, so we had to just find friends that would take us in.
And your life has been turned upside down. You can't go home. What you saw that night traumatised you so greatly. Your building is so close to the tower. What's your life been like for the last year?
Living in a hotel has been difficult, and wanting to come back into the community where I'm volunteering and I'm helping, so it makes more sense to be here. You know, being closer to my son's school, it just makes sense for me to be here. But every time I have tried, I've had anxiety and panic attacks, and that's something that a lot of us are facing, and it's something we're not yet able to get over because we don't have a base to heal from.
What was it like, though, today, being at this service? You were at the service here at the base of the tower, with all of that community, those people that you did live around?
Yeah, it was really good. It was really good to be with people that know what I'm feeling. You know, you don't have to explain yourself so much. It's just very comforting to be with your neighbours and my community. But it again brings home the fact that I need housing. I need to be able to come back to the area. And being isolated in a hotel at the moment for the last year has really had an impact, and hasn't allowed me to make that progress. And I know people who are worse off than me, you know, that their children can't come back. They would come back, but their children are traumatised. You know, the children need help, the children need housing, and you know, they've been put into private rented accommodation, and the landlord can take that back at any time, leaving people in temporary accommodation homeless. And that's a real fear, to lose that security and affordability of your council house for something that isn't your own fault.
So for you, it's about logistics. Your little boy is at school nearby. You're currently in Hammersmith, so that's a tube ride and a walk to get him to school.
Yes, and the temporary accommodation that they're going to put me in is even further away. It's in East Acton, so it's a bus journey, but with traffic and everything, I don't know how that's going to pan out. And yeah, it is affordability as well. It's a lot cheaper to live here on the council estate, and it is much closer. My community's here. This is where I'm healing. This is where I need to be at the moment.
You were saying to me a little earlier that the council is keen for you, if you move to East Acton, to make your life there, make it cheaper there, move your children to a local school. What do you feel about that? Well,
they promised us that they wouldn't force us out of the area. Yeah, I've had to accept this temporary accommodation because it's the better of two evils. But ultimately what it means is that I may have to relinquish my tenancy here and be forced to live there and sit up there, which again is taking me away from where I need to be at the moment.
Do you feel that life is returning to any kind of normality?
Not yet, no. I don't think life will ever be the same again. You know, for us, again, the trauma is a real thing. Like, it has affected us, it's thrown us off our path into a totally new one, and now it's about learning to navigate this new way of life for us. And the awareness, the things we've learned, you know, I've learned how important social housing is, policies, you know, all the political issues that are involved around Grenfell. They're real, and they affect everyone in the country, not just us here in Kensington. So I've learned a lot, and I can't go back to the life I had before.
Do you think the inquiry will achieve anything meaningful, could prevent another disaster of this nature?
Well, I think along with whatever comes out of the inquiry, which we hope is the truth, whatever that will be, the truth needs to come out. And then the lessons need to be applied. And I think that's what's been shown that hasn't happened in the past, that lessons and information that has come out of inquiries hasn't been applied. And that's to do with the culture in the council and their perception of people in social housing.
There was such an amount of anger in the days after the fire, directed largely at the council and also the authorities in general. Do you think anything has changed there? We've seen changes at the top. All of the top brass at the council have all now gone. Has anything changed, do you think?
Anger is a gateway emotion. It's actually an emotion that is a combination of various emotions put together. And so, yes, that's still there. But the reason why it wasn't so much anger out of fury, it was more just the wakening up to see, actually, we've been enduring this inequality for so long, and this has got to stop. Look where we've allowed it to get to. We can't continue.
Tomissina, thanks very much for that. Thank you so much for coming and talking to us today. And what Tomissina is saying is something that's been reiterated by a lot of people that we've spoken to today, the sense that the council and other authorities just weren't listening, and that they hope that one of the legacies of what happened is that the people's voices will be heard. Some others of those who've been affected have spoken to Sky News to mark the first anniversary. Let's now hear the story of Miguel and Fatima Alves. They lived in an apartment on the 13th floor of the tower and lost absolutely everything in the fire apart from their lives. And like Tomissina, 1 year on, they are still living in temporary accommodation. Sky's Joe Tidy went to see them.
For the Alves family, it was